Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's first broadcast of the NAGA. My name is Reed Option, and here we have two 1-0 teams, the Brooklyn Bandits, heading into Florida to take on the Orlando Flames, who seem to have all analysts seeing them as coming out on top, although they have a slight disadvantage in our next-gen percentage stats. I think this will be a nice, high-scoring, close game. Both of these teams putting up a significant amount of points in Week 1 against their respective opponents. Brooklyn coming out on top against their divisional rivals, Delaware Pioneers, 23-22, and the Orlando Flames besting their divisional rivals at home, the Baton Rouge Redbirds, losing in overtime to the Flames, 29-23. Jansen will give us our opening kickoff. Fielded by Martin. And Martin will get put on his back at the 23. And out will come second-year quarterback. Second game he started, Trey Money Geechee. Here we have him last week leading his team to his first start, his first victory. Starting now over veteran quarterback Sean Fisher. He motions Cameron Brown, and here's the first snap from Geechee. And it is a completion to Galbraith. Gain of 6 to open up the game. Orlando has 2 injuries. Justin Langford hurt his ankle last week, the wide receiver. He will not return till Week 4, and left tackle Brett Fairbanks hurt his leg and will not return until Week 7. Wide receiver Terrence Jones-Carlton, undrafted free agent, got signed to the active roster this past week to make up for that injury. Geechee under pressure, out to the right. 2 completions to Galbraith will get us a first down. And Alex Rubio will come in for a tired Galbraith. Orlando is actually 2-0 against the Brooklyn Bandits. They were in the same division in Season 1, the East Division, before the expansion, and they swept Brooklyn 2-0 and haven't faced each other since. Last year, Orlando was 1-3 at home. Both teams 4-4 total. Brooklyn going 2-2 away. So, although the percentages are pretty, evenly favorable between these two teams, the injuries seem to put Orlando at a disadvantage, but their past records seem to put Orlando at an advantage. And of course, the past 2 seasons, Orlando being led by the same leader in Pharaoh Trey. Pharaoh Trey being not only team leader for the Orlando Flames, but also a major content creator for the Axis football communities. So shout out to Pharaoh Trey. And in my interview with him, I asked him about last week, Trey Money Geechee leading the team to a win, what his approach was to developing young talent within the team, especially those who may not get regular game time. And his answer was, he said that his approach is systematic and numerical based on what he wants the future of the team to look like. And he said that's all the information he'll disclose at the time. Very secretive about his strategies. But no doubt this is the man with a plan. 21 of his 53-man roster are new acquisitions from this past offseason. So Pharaoh Trey clearly strategizing. A lot of O-linemen. Out of his 14 offensive players that he acquired lately, I believe half of those are linemen. So a lot of protection going into Trey Money Geechee, and a lot of receivers, both in free agency, whether it was Terrence Jones-Carlton or Jordan Trent, or in the draft, where in round 5 and round 7 he got Quentin Hines and Jack Sturgeon. Looks like there is another one of his acquisitions, Sam Ligon, potentially coming for Sean Miles, but it looks like they might punt, so he may not see a snap. Even Brown and Miles both were fatigued on that drive. 4th and 2 after a long drive. And rookie Michael DeLuca, star punter, looking pretty promising with that punt inside the 20 for his first punt today. Michael DeLuca, the Buffalo grad, 22 years old, great all-around talent. And here comes a veteran as opposed to the rookies, Steven Terwilliger. Last year, Terwilliger being acquired from the Portland Grizzlies as they favor Ryan Davis. Brooklyn seeing a few owners themselves, now being owned by Trevor. New owner. He acquired a good many pieces as well, 15 total pieces for his team. Couple defensive guys in the drafts. I don't think we'll see any of those guys on this drive, but fullback Colin Scott is a big name that they acquired on this offense, so we'll see what Terwilliger and gang do for the Bandits. Wide open, busted coverage, and that is Marshall Presley, the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown Bandits. That 79-yard completion, and the Bandits come out on top 7-0 halfway through the first quarter. Only one pass from the veteran, and Jansen will send through the extra points. In my interview this week with Bandits owner Trevor, I asked him, having won last week, how he anticipates opponents adjusting their strategy against them and how he prepares to counter it. He said that Orlando, to no surprise, was very effective at running the ball last week. I expect we'll see a lot more of that. I'm interested to see their game plan because on tape they're very one-dimensional with their quarterback only in his second career start. He didn't look too bad in what we saw, but they didn't ask him too much either. So, very confident on the defensive front, and I mean very composed on the offensive front with that easy play. One play and a touchdown. Brown being brought down really swiftly by Charles Thurston. Another veteran on this Brooklyn team. And with injuries striking Orlando, you know, I'm sure with this young quarterback, it's going to be hard enough to muster a victory over this very experienced Brooklyn team. 3rd and 2 already for the Flames. And the home crowd will try to give them as much encouragement as possible. On this 3rd down, Geechee handing it off to Miles. Miles popped for a fumble. Tackle for loss by Muhammad. Luckily, that was recovered by center Josh Weiner, the Missouri graduate, able to prevent some unfavorable field position for the Flames. And Rollins will field this punt. Great tackle there by Lorenzo Martin, preventing Brooklyn from getting any further than they needed to. That is Spears up the middle, spearing his way for a 9-yard gain. Only 2 running backs on this starting Brooklyn squad, Javonte Spears and Kevin Price. After that, all you have is fullback Colin Scott. So I expect we may see some interesting plays involving tight ends at the rush game / fullback game if need be, namely Derek Allen and Ryan Hinkle, as Kevin Price is already coming in for Javonte Spears. Kevin Price being a draft pick last season out of Old Dominion, round 2, pick 102. And there he is on his first handoff of the day, losing 3 yards. Great tackle for loss by Stevenson. That is the corner out of Florida State. play action. Overthrows his tight end. Yes, it looked like it was intended for Tommy Estes. Third and long for the Bandits. Under pressure, Terwilliger complete to Clemens, who mosses a man, stiff arms him into the dirt, and gets a touchdown. Touchdown once again. This time Samuel Clemens on that impressive athletic play. And Brooklyn goes up 14-0 on just 2 pass completions from Steven Terwilliger. 14-zip. Brooklyn. When I asked owner Trevor of the Brooklyn Bandits about walking me through his typical preparation into, leading up to a game, he said that it starts with watching film, breaking down a team into what they are, exposing their weaknesses, and knowing what to expect going into a game and leaving it up to the players to produce that on the field. And we're looking at a very smart owner with a very calculated approach against the Flames going into Orlando, heading down to where it's hot. I mean, hotter than New York this time of year. Geechee handing off to Brown. Met very quickly by Barron. I think netting negative yards on the game so far. Cameron Brown getting absolutely nowhere. Another handoff to Brown. Heavy reliance, but with no gain. Sean Miles getting subbed in. Sean Miles and Sam Ligon, both 22 years old. Very young backfield, very, very young team overall. And the young quarterback gets a big completion to Lorenzo Martin on that third down, keeping this drive alive and well for the Orlando Flames. Hike. Dropping back is Geechee under pressure. Almost caught by Martin. Great defense there. Like that might have been James Asher on the defense. Brown will actually break free for the first. That might have been the first positive play he's had all game. 8 rushes for 36 yards, not bad. 5 wide receiver set effectively for Geechee and gang, and he will pay for having no protection there. Once again, the defensive tackle, Tyrone Barron, bursting through. Can't leave a quarterback unprotected when most of your acquisitions in the offseason have been either inexperienced or, washed up offensive linemen. You've got to make sure you protect your quarterback using any means necessary. Definitely not putting him at risk against men such as Tyrone Barron. Trey Money Geechee, 3 for 5, not doing bad so far. He just can't get the ball off when he's under pressure. Great throw down the middle. A lot of intended passes for Martin today. And he just can't seem to get him to him. And this drive will be stopped to a screeching halt. Forced to punt it away just before the first quarter comes to a close. Great pump by DeLuca inside the 20 again. This time Rollins will take it outside the 20. Up to the 24. Hand off to Spears to the outside. Spears breaking the first tackle. Can't make it past 37 there. Gaining 5 on the play. Upon asking Pharaoh Trey how he keeps his team grounded and prevent overconfidence after a strong season opening victory, his response was, luckily for me, my team knows who they are and what position we're in. It's not overconfidence I'm worried about. It's lack of confidence, especially for my young guys. And that might be what we're seeing on the offensive side. Although, definitely not a lack of confidence from Tremonti Geechee, doing a lot of deep throws in contention. I mean, to your wide receiver 1 a lot. A little bit of a reliance on him, but, you know, I think it's important for this whole team to stay grounded. And I'm sure Pharaoh Trey has really stressed that in the past week. About to face the Brooklyn Bandits, who, in my power rankings, you know, this past, it's about, you know, about a week ago, Brooklyn, I have them in my top 8. So they were bottom of their division last season, or tied for it, and I have them pretty high up. I have Orlando pretty low down at 20, although they had a strong opening game against Baton Rouge, who I have at 21. They just have a very young team. However, you have guys like Moala making tackles on important plays like that. Etuate Moala, experienced player from Hawaii. At least that's where he graduated from. He's born in Los Angeles. Spears running up the middle, trying to get the first down, and he will get it. Gain of 5 there. And it looks like we might have a tight end running it, like I predicted. Derek Allen, not a lot of depth at running back, and they may suffer for it, depending on how this game script goes. Looks like Price will be able to run it still, but Allen is making his way up through the ranks to run a few times probably today. What a great running duo, though. 12th overall in rushing offense, while Orlando is 1st overall in rushing offense, 2nd overall in rushing defense, while Brooklyn more so flexes the passing defense, being number 5 overall so far this season. Definitely know what these teams' strengths were last week. And we'll see which team lies into the other team, you know, really making sure that they expose the other team's weaknesses throughout this game. Almost picked off there. Terwilliger throwing it right into the hands of Adrian Gordon. And we will have a punt. First punt today for Brooklyn. Here's a punter, Corey Hughes. Nice little punt inside the 20 for him. Great job by these punters today, making sure they do not kick it into the end zone, as punters often do in the NAGA. From their own 12, pistol formation. Out comes Geechee. Dropping back to pass. Looking to his right. Couldn't be hauled in. I believe that was Galbraith. Three for 7 now. Not a completion since the last time they brought up that stat. And we have a false start on Alex Rubio. I think that might have been Rubio. on the dropped pass there. Geechee now from his own 7. A lot of pressure now. We see Jones Carlton is in the game. Let's see if he learned the playbook fast enough. Nice little pitch out to Trent. Jordan Trent gaining just a few yards there. About 7. And it'll be 3rd and 8. After that 7-yard gain, Geechee dropping back. Wide open running back, but he turned to the wrong side. Cameron Brown couldn't bring it in, and it'll be 4th and 8. Orlando forced to punt this one away yet again. Great punt by DeLuca. Down to the 50.
Go!
Terwilliger dropping back under pressure on his left. Throws it to the left to Presley. They will gain 4 yards on the play. You could automatically see the blitz, and Terwilliger, as tenured as he is, knows to watch for those kinds of things. He motions Price out to the left and throws it down the middle to Frazier. Darnell Frazier, the veteran receiver. A lot of veterans on this team. A lot of experienced guys. And sometimes, you want that. Not for long term, but especially for short term. I mean, just look at that stat line for the quarterback. That's what experience gets you, and gets you a first down on that crucial 3rd down play. And they're looking to go up by 3 scores as Rashad Slaughter gets subbed into the game. That's an awesome name. Rashad Slaughter out of Houston, Texas, graduate of Texas State, and a lifelong Brooklyn Bandit. What a name, Rashad Slaughter. Hand off to Price, who will be met immediately in the backfield. Loss of 4. Ryan Rosenblum. Got Colin Scott on his left. Price on his right. Flag on the play. Potential offsides. And Presley will gain 3. Looks like they'll accept that 5-yard penalty. Is it a first down? I guess it was a holding. A holding. Wow. Not expecting that. First down automatically, and that's 4 new downs for Brooklyn to use to score. Down the middle, Presley, 24-yard gain. Marshall Presley, the man of the hour. Three catches for 107 yards. I mean, he's looking to have a career game today. Williger looking for Price. He'll only gain a yard there. Price once again only gaining a yard. This time tackled by Oliver Crisp. Yes, that is a real name, Oliver Crisp. One of the draft picks this season, round 4, pick 87 for the Flames. Terwilliger on 3rd down. Touchdown! Clemens! I didn't expect that to be caught. He was being locked up by Tyshawn Kennedy, but I guess Terwilliger threaded the needle, and Brooklyn has now scored 21 unanswered points in the first half. I was going to say, I hope I didn't jinx Matt Jansen. That would have been sad. But 21 unanswered points. You know, I'm sure this locker room, I'd love to be a fly on the wall for what Pharaoh Trey has to say to his guys. Just outside the 2-minute warning. Geechee handing it off to Brown to the right, and he will get a first on his first rush. What? 2nd and inches? I mean, that ball is right on top of it. Whatever. Okay. 2-minute warning. I'm sure it doesn't matter. You hope they don't commit a false start here, because I feel like there was an injustice done. Should have had them review that. 5 wide receivers. Geechee dropping back unprotected. Throws it away. Those bubble routes on that play were not doing him any favors, especially given he got blitzed by 6 men. And expect a run play here, but they do not. Another pass from Geechee to Martin. Clearly a favorite target. Looks like watching Zach Wilson try to find Garrett Wilson every play. You know, he definitely has a favorite. And I feel like young guys do that on football teams, especially quarterbacks. They pick a best friend, and they always try to find them. Geechee out to the right. Intended for Galbraith, possibly. But Galbraith cannot get open aside from that one catch. Geechee under 50% today. Dropping back, looking deep. Again, intended for Martin. It is almost every play. I'm finding a little bit of amusement out of this. It is every play intended for Martin. I'd hope that he'd use Jordan Trent, Terrence Jones, Carlton, Jack Sturgeon, Quentin Hines, Magic Boy. I mean, most of these guys are new, but you don't always got to rely on your biggest veteran. Cameron Brown doing his best to make sure that drive's alive. Although it's just a solid black bar, I believe that is a timeout from Brooklyn at the top right of the screen. So yes, Brooklyn called a timeout. Orlando will not go for it and risk being put in unfavorable position, and DeLuca will attempt to punt inside the 20. Looks like Martin stopped it a little early at the 24. Like Terwilliger will try to lead his men to another score before the half. No surprise, honestly, as they get the ball at the half, too. Sending all his receivers downfield, almost picked off. Right off the fingertips of DeMarcus Elder. And that could have been very substantial in helping Orlando get this game back, being down 3 scores. Flag on the play. Screen, little screen pass to the slot receiver, Adrian Gordon, committing another holding. Automatic first down. All 3 penalties called so far on Orlando. 2 of them giving them a new set of downs. Giving Brooklyn a new set of downs. So, Terwilliger again throwing to Presley. No timeout called. Letting the clock tick down, and both sides will just hold on to their timeouts. Terwilliger, as the clock expires down past 30 seconds, will heave it downfield to Clemens, who will catch it despite the defender Elijah Jennings being on top of him. These receivers are just as insane as Steven Terwilliger. Samuel Clemens and Marshall Presley, the most scary wide receiver duo in the league, maybe. I mean, the core isn't insane, but just those two. I mean, Darnell Frazier, Rashad Slaughter, Andre Denton, Daniel Brunetti, Jalen Ray. Those are all great guys, right? But, I mean, just look at the stats. Samuel Clemens and Marshall Presley both have over 100 yards each on less than 5 catches. You can't help but be blown away by the sheer talent. Almost picked off again. I think that was Quasi Amwa. I cannot tell. You know, these guys are getting the opportunities to pick them off, but are just not being able to grab it. A lot of youth on this team, but as far as I was aware, it looks like their defensive backs are mostly experienced. Great pass deflection. That was newly acquired middle linebacker Chris Barnes, if I'm not mistaken. Barnes formerly on the Tucson Vipers. And with 11 seconds to go, Jansen will kick a 35-yard field goal, and it is good. Only 7 seconds for the Flames to compose themselves and get a drive together, and the Bandits will get the ball at the half. Scary sight to see. I mean, I'm a fan of comebacks. I love an underdog. Touchback. He'll let it go. Starting the drive from the 25. I imagine you'll get 2 plays off. You know, throw one a little down the field towards the out of bounds and have him run out, or just, you know, throw a Hail Mary, you know. Shuck it up. Hope you get it. Towards the sideline, almost picked off there. Like that was intended for the fullback. Will Livingston, another one of their new signings. Livingston being the fullback for Memphis last season. And Trey Money Geechee will throw it away to end the half as to not get strip sacked or worse. And, well, the score kind of speaks for itself. Yeah. So let's reference my interview with Pharaoh Trey. I asked him about Brooklyn's pass defense and if maybe they'd prepared for it with Geechee. And he just said, you know, he instructed Geechee not to throw into double coverage, utilize checkdowns, just make smart reads. And I think Geechee might need that pep talk again. I mean, it's been a lot of, you know, intended deep passes, not a lot of checkdowns unless it's already too late for Barrett Galbraith on the sideline. So, you know what the coach said, but the quarterback's performance has been quite the opposite. And after that 9-yard gain by Rashad Slaughter,
Hike.
a handoff to Price should give him the first down, and it does. Not a lot of yards for Kevin Price today. 7 rushes for 8 yards. Let's see if he can turn that around. 4 yards gained there. Here's Spears back in the game. Fighting his way for 5 yards. 3rd and 1 now, as Randall Jamison will be subbed in for Julian Melville. Both these teams are 1-0. Both are in the Atlantic Conference. Brooklyn is from the Northeast Division. Orlando is from the Southeast Division. Speaking of Northeast Division, Colin Scott, former Virginia Beach Mariner, former Raleigh Royal. Last time he was a fullback, he was a Raleigh Royal. So that would have been the Southeast Division. So both of these guys are going to face some divisional rivals after the Thanksgiving break. So not next week, but in 2 weeks, we will have week 3 of the season, in which Brooklyn will face the Richmond Rockets in Richmond, as they currently sit 1-0. I'm actually unaware. I believe Richmond and Raleigh faced each other this week, or will face each other this week. I need to check the schedule to double check that. But they were 1-0 heading into week 2. Similarly, Raleigh Royals will go into Orlando to face the Flames next week. Oh, in 2 weeks. So very exciting matchups, regardless of the outcome of this game or their game against each other. We'll see if Orlando can rebound after what seems to be assuredly a loss today. I mean, I didn't jinx anything, potentially. We'll see what happens. Terwilliger motioning Clemens. He'll hand it off to Price. And this running back duo is just tearing it apart. Tearing Orlando to bits piece by piece. Neither one of their offensive fronts were too impressive last week, but they were able to get the win. And it seems like the running duo is just as scary as their wide receiver duo, as Spears gets them a first down. Upon asking Brooklyn Bandits owner Trevor about adapting well to the Brooklyn Bandits culture and what he feels the core values are of the Bandits, he said he was lucky enough to acquire such a well-disciplined group of guys. The culture's great. We mean business going into this season. I'm still getting to know all of them, but the entire locker room has great energy. So that seems to explain their high-octane performance today. 24 points acquired in the first half. Nothing yet in the second half, but big dynamic plays from this offense. Almost a West Coast approach, chipping away yards with the running back and then chucking it deep whenever passing opportunities are created for the quarterback. 3rd and 4, still only up by 3 scores. Any score here will make it a 4-score game. Terwilliger, 15 for 22, 260 yards and 3 touchdowns, hanging it off to Price, who will get them another set of downs inside the 5. And as Price makes his way back to the huddle, looks like Allen, the tight end, will be running it as Colin Scott is motioned to the left. Handoff for Allen. Not quite fast enough to get to that end zone with that gap he was given. But Javonte Spears has been put back in the game, and a 4-score lead is all but guaranteed. Likely a handoff here. Nope, dropping back, and he gets sacked. Tucker with the sack. And Sean Tucker, the middle linebacker, will ward off a touchdown as that pass is also incomplete. It'll be 27-0, given this field goal goes through for Jensen. Or Jansen. I'm so sorry. Matt Jansen. Don't tweet at me, Jansen. I swear I'm dyslexic or something. (27-0) Brooklyn, and this Orlando team has yet to get anything going. And I mean, that last drive was what, 7 minutes off the clock? They milked that drive, that quarter, as much as they could to give Orlando no time to score. Great play calling, great execution by Trevor and the Brooklyn Bandits. Now we'll see how their defensive front holds up. When asking Trevor about the Flames' rushing offense, you know, and their rushing defense being pretty great, how they planned on approaching this game, he said that not to write off their backfield when thinking about this game. The three-headed monster of Spears and Price with Colin Scott is something to be feared, and we've seen that so far today. Said that they've had some big boy runs in week 1, and they fully expect to see that this week. And at the end of the day, the only numbers they care about are in the win column, regardless of rush yards. And I think that is very quotable. The only numbers we care about are the ones in the win column, no matter how it's done. First catch by Jones Carlton. Ichi trying to mix it up, but it's 3rd and 13.
Go!
Looking to pass to his left. Triple coverage is Lorenzo Martin, and a 3-and-out is what it looks like. DeLuca will likely march onto the field to punt it back to the Bandits. And they just cannot get anything going today. Unfortunate for Pharaoh Trey and the Orlando Flames. Oh, Rollins trying to juke Jones Carlton out of his shoes there. Was that Jones Carlton? Hold on, let me look at the number sheet. It was number 14. Jones Carlton is number 17. Sorry, that is Jordan Trent that got juked out of his shoes. For Williger, excellent field position just outside the 50. Hand off to Price, who will be met in the backfield. Ryan Rosenblum with another tackle for loss today. Doing what they can, creating opportunities for this defense to make something big happen. Terwilliger looking to his right. Price caught it. Tackled before the first down could be reached by Julian Melville. 3rd and 2. And this seems to be what Brooklyn does. They use all 4 of their downs to achieve what they want. See if they can convert again here. And that pass to the running back is incomplete. And we may see a punt from Brooklyn. Second punt of the day, likely, from them. Corey Hughes. I almost... My eyes deceived me for a second. I thought I was seeing Matt Jansen march out to kick a field goal. What a great punt. by Corey Hughes. These punters today are exemplary of what your punter should try to do. Geechee pinned inside of his own 5, dropping back to pass. Dangerous territory out to Galbraith, who will stiff arm him into the ground and will run 36 yards up to the 40. Great play by Geechee and Galbraith. Or William Dukes, the linebacker, has found his way into a highlight reel and on the receiving end of it, unfortunately. New set of downs for the Flames, though. Play action. Geechee throwing to Jones Carlton, slot receiver, getting 6 yards on that play. Orlando has some new life breathed into them these past 2 plays. Let's see if the momentum can continue as we are coming towards the end of the 3rd quarter. Geechee dropping back again, looking out to his left. Wide open man is Galbraith, and he will get the first down. I think. You've got to be kidding me. That's the second time this game that I think the ball spot has just been not correct. You know, que sera, though. Trey Money Geechee. Motioning Galbraith just a few inches to the left. Guess didn't like the way he was lined up, and that's a 4th down. I still don't agree with the ball spot. Great tackle for loss by Thurston, though. Maybe I'm just hoping for a closer game. Typically, Orlando winds up in close games and loses last second. I mean, that's how they did last year. They were 4-4 last season, and their losses all seemed to be, you know, close losses. I asked him how he planned on preventing those kinds of scenarios, and he said prayer. Which, I mean, hey, it's a good answer. He said, with the way the league works, we're not in control. It's, you know, it's up to the gods, he says. It's up to the simulation football experience gods. So, he's got a point. He's got a point. As a coach, you can only do so much in real life. And same goes in simulation football with Axis 24 or with any football game. This one being the best one on the market currently. You know, it's all you can do is, you know, give your guys the instructions for the game plan and hope they execute properly on it. Price will get that first down for the Bandits. And that goose egg on the scoreboard will remain there for the time being. And Spears running up to the right side. And I was going to say, and Brooklyn might find a way to keep adding to their already great score. Their 27-0 lead. Williger to Clemens, who gets tackled after the first down. You know, Brooklyn's in a unique situation. As far as I know, yeah, I mean, Richmond plays next. If Richmond loses to the Royals, I mean, Delaware's 1-1. Virginia Beach, who played Friday as well, are also 1-1 after that loss. If Richmond loses, Brooklyn will be the sole leader of the the Northeast Division heading into Week 3. I mean, it's a 10-week season, so still a lot of time to go. False start on Tommy Estes. First flag called on Brooklyn all day. Sorry. But Brooklyn is looking to be the first place for the time being in the Northeast Division. So if Richmond loses. Even so, if Richmond does win, I'm sure that Brooklyn has the tiebreaker due to divisional record. Almost picked off there. A lot of almosts from this team in picking off Terwilliger. And they just keep coming up shy.
Go!
Pass down the middle, incomplete. Who was that intended for? Is that number 18? Darnell Frazier. I think he's only had like one catch today. And this, I mean, 4-score, 5-score lead. I mean, if you're doing extra points only, it's a 5-score lead. But he misses it. I'm so sorry. Matt Jansen, I jinxed you. 45-yard field goal is no good. And Orlando will look to, you know, put up a score potentially. Get that goose egg off the board. They're given a new opportunity from their own 28. E.T. with the screen pass. Nice little down the middle cross route from Jordan Trent, but it was thrown into the dirt. Too far ahead of him. Raymond Igichi not even toppling 100 yards today. Hand off to Brown. And we met after a gain of 4.
Go!
Brown gaining 6 on the play. 4th and inches, and I think they might as well go for it. Down 27 points in the 4th. And they won't. Michael DeLuca comes out to punt. And punt he will. At least Brooklyn starts from their own 24. Orlando, you know, might be able to create a turnover. Terwilliger handing it off to Spears out of shotgun. He'll be stopped for 1 yard. Single back formation for the Bandits. And Spears will break a tackle out of the backfield, but will still be stopped for a loss by Moala. Tuate Moala on his 2nd or 3rd tackle for loss today. 3rd and 10, halfway through the 4th quarter. Single back formation once again for the Bandits, looking to salt this game away. Some run plays. Another handoff to Price, this time a pitch to the right. He'll gain 6 yards. And then be met by Antoine Stevenson for a 4th down. Fielded by Kennedy. Ichi in shotgun, looking to make something happen for the Flames. Nobody back to protect him. And he throws it deep. Caught by Terrence Jones-Carlton. Jones-Carlton looking to have a permanent spot on the starting squad after being picked up this week. And Weiner Although he recovered that fumble earlier in the game, it's costing him 5 yards here. Man, 4 or 5 penalties called on Orlando, only 1 called on Brooklyn, and you'd hate to see mistakes like that be, what causes you to lose. Although I'm sure, it still might have been a loss, but you hate to see it. You just really hate to see it, especially with those 3rd and inch plays that they got given to them instead of a first down. Those were. It's a game of inches, and it's a game of mistakes. And Orlando was just not on the good side of that today.
Go!
Dropping back to pass, looking to his right. Galbraith gaining only 3 there. This time 2 backs, 1 on his left, 1 on his right. Livingston now being motioned, and he will be targeted. Looks like he didn't know his route. 4th down. Does Orlando just want to get the goose egg off the board, or will they go for a touchdown to try to take this game back? They will try to go for the touchdown. Pharaoh Trey says, it's a loss if we don't go for it. Might as well try. Ichi looking deep. Caught! Touchdown! Lorenzo Martin taking the goose egg off the board anyways and converts the 4th down for a touchdown. The Orlando Flames will not be held scoreless today. And the extra point, they need 3 more touchdowns. Regardless. So, do you expect an onside kick here? Do you... Man, I expect an onside kick, but we'll see. We'll see. Normal kick. Okay. Trust your defense. Freitag seeing some action today. Only on the halftime kickoff, and now that extra point. Stefan Freitag. Man. All right, 3.5 minutes left. It's possible. You just need to actually intercept or pop the other team for fumbles. You need to make some plays on the defense, but it's looking very improbable for Orlando regardless of that score. Terwilliger running the ball, handing it off to Spears. Just running the clock out. Not going to leave any room for error. And that is smart and calculated both by quarterback Terwilliger and head coach and owner Trevor. Spears getting 91 all-purpose yards today.
Go!
And add a little more to it as he gets a first down there. 96 all-purpose yards today for Spears. Nothing crazy from Spears and Price, but they are, doing things where it counts. They're getting the first downs. They're staying in bounds, holding on to the ball. Impressive from the Bandits. Price, handoff up the middle. He'll gain 5 on the play. Doesn't look like Orlando's wasting any timeouts. Guess they fear that they'll get the score run up on them if they call a timeout and give Brooklyn an opportunity. Price, 78 all-purpose yards today. So just under 200 yards rushing in total with both backs combined. Spears losing a few. And there's a Moala. 3 tackles for losses today, and Orlando does burn a timeout. 3rd and 9 just before the 2-minute warning. And off to the left is Price. And that is 4th down with the 2-minute warning. And Orlando is, given another opportunity to potentially score. one timeout burn from Orlando. Pretty smart there. And Hughes will punt it. Kennedy will make his way up to the 20. 22 with a minute 50 to go. Gonna need to start chucking the ball if you are Orlando. Just Hail Marys. Back to back. Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary. You know, sound like a Catholic. Ichi dropping back. Gonna do his right. Galbraith just going out of bounds, making sure that he doesn't get sacked, making sure that Galbraith doesn't get tackled in bounds. Not unwise, but 2nd and 10. You might as well throw the ball away at that point. Galbraith 6 catches for 55 yards. Not bad from the Pro Bowl tight end. Ichi had a lot of guys running deep, but throws it short to Brown, and that'll force them to burn a timeout. You know, they gained a few yards, a little closer to the first down. I mean, I'm sure that helps long term on this drive. Now you only have 2 yards to go till you get a first, so it's not bad, but not ideal. Motioning his man is Geechee. 5 receiver set. Dropping back, looking to his left. Looks like he didn't know his route. That was Galbraith. 4th and 2. Miscommunication all day between Geechee and his receivers. Flag on the play, and TJC will commit a false start to Ansi, and 4th and 7 is a lot less favorable than, 4th and 2. But still, 6, 7 penalties called against the Flames today. I think 6 penalties called against the Flames. Unreal how many times they put themselves in that situation, Deep throw to Martin, and he catches it. Makes it past midfield. Gain of 32 yards, and that is a first down, and the clock will keep ticking. They'll keep that last time out and look to potentially get a touchdown. The game is potentially out of reach, but another completion to Galbraith this time. Gain of 5. They might put up 10, 14 points on the Bandits. All garbage time, but it's admirable that they're still fighting. They don't want to be embarrassed by the shutout, They will not go down without swinging. And I think that's an important value to keep as a part of your team. Your Farrah Trey and this Orlando Flames team. Jones Carlton, after previously having committed a potentially crucial false start, is 4 for 4 now. 50 yards receiving. What was that? Very quick, hastily thrown. I guess you could sense the blitz. 4th and 1 for the Flames. And they'll try to convert their second 4th down in a row. Geechee dropping back. Across the middle is Trent. Gain of 1, but was it a first? And it was! They gave him the ball spot this time. I am actually in disbelief. Typically, they don't give it to them. I mean, that's been the course of this game. That's how it's been. So, Geechee dropping back, looking to his right, wide open. That was Mr. TE2, Alex Rubio, being overthrown there. Stops the clock, though. Geechee coming out with 4 wide receiver sets. Dropping back, looking moderately down the field. Who was that he was throwing to? Jack Sturgeon? That was Jack Sturgeon. I don't think he got a single catch today. I think he got, targeted, but no catches for Jack Sturgeon. Geechee just over 50% today. A lot of pass attempts. He will drop back once again and throw deep for the wide open man, which is Martin, who will make his way inside the 5 as the clock keeps ticking. 15 seconds left, And I expect them to spike the ball here before the clock gets too low so they can compose themselves for another touchdown. 7 seconds left. And I know the points don't matter, but, you know, it's crucial for these teams to save face and always put out their best effort. And next week, Orlando will need to use this game, especially this last quarter, as an example of how they should be performing against Raleigh next week, or in 2 weeks. Touchdown, Terrence Jones-Carlton, and the undrafted rookie gets a touchdown in his first career game for the Flames at the very end. And it'll be 27-14. Trey Munigichi doing his best to salvage what was left of that game. Extra point is good. Brooklyn, of course, will go and face the either 1-1 or 2-0 division rival Rockets next week. Both will have very tough games. I'm looking forward to commentating all the tough games. I typically commentate 2 or 3 a week, so looking forward to being there with you all and having a front row seat. Speaking of Richmond and of Raleigh, they play next. They're probably on right now, 3 p.m. game Eastern. Then you have Columbus going into Texas to face San Antonio and the Fighters. And then Vancouver Mountaineers close out the day against Tornadoes. And there we have it. Steven Terwilliger. I think he might be player of the game, but I mean, if you look at the team stats, 430 all-purpose yards for the Bandits, 304 for the Flames, 1 sack each side, no turnovers. I think the game goes to Clemens and Presley. I mean, they both had 4 catches for 118 yards, 2 touchdowns for Clemens, 1 for Presley. I think the 50 yards after catch for Presley I think that gives him the edge. This rushing duo today, Price and Spears, completely besting Brown and Miles. Great performance all around from the Bandits. Definitely a little bit of reliance on these top 2 guys, but, you know, a win's a win, in the words of Trevor, the Brooklyn Bandits head coach. You know, the only numbers that matter are the ones in the win column, and they got one today. 2-0. I believe for the first time in Bandits history, 2-0. So, fantastic job for the Bandits. Might see a new dynasty here in the NAGA. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day watching the games. I know I will. My name is Reed Option, and here at the NAGA, we will see you next time.